me read you a passage from my book, and then we'll move on with comics that actually worked. This book is not like the last book, which was a little depressing at points. This is more just life on the road, just all the stuff you have to deal with and shows and problems. A Boeing 767 engine hooked up to a sewer pipe could not possibly suck as much shit as I did opening that first show at South by Southwest. The Adderall had my nerves shaking, and the watered-down booze in the green room couldn't compensate. Thank God Glenn Wool was backstage waiting to take over for me. I promised myself that I'd regroup during his set and get stronger booze.
I wish I saw this before we came out, because this is vaguely reminiscent of some really bad MTV show where people would hang around the background only because they were popular. And now no one cares. Hey, that's our good friend Adrian, and that's Brian Hennigan, the filthy uncut Scotsman, if you're familiar with my work. If you're not, you're lost.
So it's a little bit of a homecoming for you here to AOL, Doug, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. But before I forget, I have to say, Dave Attell, best comic of my generation. Because I just did a similar thing at another internet Goliath. And I go, oh, fuck, I forgot to say Dave Attell. So I'm opening this without any context with Dave Attell. And now, yes, I made you write that down. My first book was because of AOL, Instant Messenger, fucking with pedophiles. It was baiting.org. It's still like archived out there. Baiting.org, fucking with pedophiles. Before, what's his name from Please Have a Seat? What's that guy? Chris Hansen, thank you. Yeah, before that show existed, we did it, but made it funny. On AOL Instant Messenger.
I remember when I met you being nervous to ordering that book on my Amazon account. I remember being nervous.
You're nervous doing everything.
Well, I am.
Well, everyone should be nervous when they order something that says pedophile online.
Yeah,
We changed the name.
The title was
Fun with Pedophiles. The best
that was
debating.
the title. Yeah, I was nervous. So
who fucked up our...
That's mine.
Well, I'm going to
But these are waters. Who put fucking water when we have alcohol? We have very little room here. This is the smallest game of chess ever.
While you're sorting out the drinking, I'm going to ask a couple of questions.
All right.
This is the only time.
Go ahead.
So the comedians, there are 3 comics.
Yes, Morgan Murphy, Brendan Walsh, and Glenn Wool.
And I'd like you to talk a bit about how that came to be, but originally you had 10 comics. I just wondered, because you talk a lot about comedy and your love of comedy and you support a lot of comedians you really love.
You really need another drink, don't you?
No, I had one. That's plenty.
All right. Yes.
Keep going, Adrian. You're almost there. Go on.
Now, just start with the 10 comics before you get to the 3.
It was 10 or 15 when I don't do the business shit. He calls me up, hey, CISO's ready to get rid of even more money, and they want you to host a thing at South by Southwest where you bring some friends and all I have to do is host the project. And I'm like, that means I don't have to burn material, which when you see the special, you'll see I didn't burn any gold. But I did get to throw out a bunch of names for comedians I would like to work with. So I gave him 10 or 15 names. Morgan, Brendan, and Glenn got picked.
Yep.
They were available. I didn't do the negotiations, but who else? Bert Kreischer I put in there. Sean Rouse, Andy Andrus,
Margaret
Cho. We were trying to dare ourselves to remember the whole list of
Bill
people.
Burr, you put in there. Because why
We
not?
knew- Yeah.
We're not paying.
This is their relationship. You're seeing it in action, and I wonder if you guys could describe this, like the mechanics of how you collaborate.
I think I'd sum up
together.
our relationship in one word, which is profitable.
Whoever's more sober has to deal with this shit right now.
Yes, something like that. It's collegiate.
I trust Brian inherently while I don't trust him whatsoever. I go, Brian has my best interests at heart unless he's really fucked up, but he's quiet about that. So I assume when I can't take care of myself, he's doing due diligence, even if he's not, because we live within our means.
So how do you define your best interests?
I facilitate what Doug wants.
See? That's how.
And how do you define your best interests, though?
We get a lot of fucked up emails, and not just the like hardcore suicide, all the crazy fan base that and I say crazy in a good way, like people that are seriously mentally ill and fucked that enjoy me. Hey, they're going to pick one up right now. Siren. There was one email that we got recently where I had to write back, hey, Brian knows what I want. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Not the guy, not the recent one who wrote 5 times in a day.
No, it's a different one where, it was about something, someone wanted advice. I go, well, no, that's what managers do. They know what their client wants. Someone was...
Yes, I remember now. I remember.
I get all the fucking emails from people who don't have public email addresses.
Yes.
So if they know I'm friends with them, hey, I can't get a hold of so-and-so, but I want him to work my fucking backyard barbecue, and he won't get back to me.
Yeah, your manager's not returning my calls.
That's what a manager does. He knows what you want, and he cuts out the dead weight so you don't have to deal with that shit. I do deal with that shit because I like to yell at people first thing in the morning. You go, what the fuck are you thinking?
Okay, but I think with you, it's a very particular kind of collaboration because you even in the comedy world, you're fairly close to the edge. If comedy is about breaking a lot of boundaries and you break more boundaries than most comedians, and Brian, you're part of what you do is to keep him animated in that work. Mm-hmm. How all I can say is you can see this is what it's also like trying to report on a comedian.
We torture her so much. She's been writing a book.
I'm
called,
really sincere.
Can I tell you what it's
earnest,
called?
And it's like I get one answer for every 12 hours of hanging out with them. That's pretty much the ratio.
I don't do impressions, but I am gonna do my impression of Adrienne Nicole LeBlanc. Asking us, she's been writing a book for 40 years about comedy. And
12
she's been
years,
embedded.
12 years, but I'm about to give up. I'm giving up now. I really am.
This is how she asks you a question about comedy. Doug, your process, when you go into, say, you're writing a new act, I mean, not that you need a new act, but when you do have, and the process, what I'm trying to say is, when you're on the road, here you are with Andy and Junior, when you, I saw your notebook and you're just ask the fucking question. For brevity's sake, I shortened that to a palatable amount of time, but that's how you...
I wish this was like a voting situation, though, because I did ask a direct question, which is, how do you define your best interest? Didn't you hear that? I did ask that. Thank you.
And we answered it succinctly.
He didn't say what his best interests were.
He answered for me.
Yeah.
I said he has my best interest in mind.
I facilitate what he wants.
I know, but I'm asking you how you define
Why are
your
you
best
asking
interest.
him?
Okay, fair
I
enough.
think that's
fair enough.
the point.
Good point. Good point. So in
He
light
knows that I don't want to do your, my backyard bachelor
I
party
got it.
doing cannonballs. We have a cannonball competition, and we're going to give you all the free keg beer in the world. We can't pay for your airfare. He knows I don't want that gig.
Okay,
he
so
has
you-
my best interests.
Okay, so this CISO special, which
Yes.
You did and
Yes.
you enjoyed doing, can you talk about what about it, what it holds in terms of your creative or professional?
Well, I knew that it would give Doug the opportunity to work with people he really wants to work with. That's the first thing. We never get that chance, or rarely, particularly in a lucrative way. You know?
In a way that they will be seen.
Yes.
These are guys that will have been on the road with me, but don't have anything out there.
Correct.
Hey, you can go see him on whatever. No, you can see him at what? Fucking Nantucket?
Yeah.
What?
Uncle Chuckle Hut, whatever.
So, yeah, it gave it paid me, which is number one, and it gave me a chance to expose some of my friends to the world of CISO.
Yeah.
So a lot of the comics that you have in the special are great comics. And why do you think in this climate where there are all these new, all kinds of technologies, all kinds of platforms, how is it that folks like this aren't visible, given all the sort of drive for content? Or do you think it's, I'm not going to elaborate.
Well,
now I'm self-conscious about my questioning. There's two questions.
Show of hands, who really knows me as a like long term? All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the people that I generally associate with, as far as comics that I love, don't try on their own.
Correct.
So this is kind of me
I see.
trying on their behalf. This time, Walsh, fucking brilliant. He's got a new problem. Let's not talk about that, should we?
No.
Don't talk about that. I'll just say that. He's fucked. He's a writer in L.A., but yeah.
Cyril Connolly.
Morgan Murphy, again, brilliant writer in LA, but a brilliant comic that you should know is a stand-up comic. I love stand-up comedy. I don't like Two Broke Girls. It's a fucking failure on her behalf that she's rich because of it, but she's stuck in it. And that's a trap. You fucking get used to the comforts. And Glenn Wool, he's a fuck-up. I think he's also, oh,
He's
Jesus.
got one on the way.
All right, we should put other comics' faces over it, because that's 2 out of 3.
Oh, yeah.
Since we did this.
They're basically retired.
Yeah, they are. I like to make the few of you who enjoy me enjoy people that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because we're a limited slice of that pie, kids. If you really are into what I do, you don't have a lot of friends. Says the guy laughing the hardest.
And the point is, Doug knew that we couldn't advocate for or use comedians that Doug's fans wouldn't respond to, because then they just shit all over them. These have to
Right.
be people that.
And CISO picked up the ball after we signed on with CISO, because they offered the most money. I ain't gonna bullshit you. But then they followed suit with Joey Coco Diaz. Who else is picking up Joey Coco Diaz? And then Nick DiPaolo and Jay Okerson.
Laurie
And
Kilmartin and
they're trying to brand it with the fuck-ups in mind. And we'll go down with the ship.
Yeah.
Because ain't no one else sailing.
So, Brian, how do you direct somebody like Doug? You're the director of these. No, the specials. How do you actually? What does that mean when you're trying?
well, frankly,
you're
okay.
the director of this
Directing was
comedian.
nothing. It was the editing that was the problem.
Yes. I would say that's the thing with stand-up comedy. The editing process is much more important than the so-called direction. I remember having a conversation with somebody who was trying to sell us to do a stand-up comedy filming gig about 2 or 3 years ago, and they said, "Oh, yeah, well, listen, we're going to get this guy. He's a hot, happening stand-up comedy director." I'm not often terse with people on the phone, Truthfully, I'm not.
Yes, he is. He's
such a
often
cunt.
terse on the phone.
He's such an awful fucking. I've had so many.
I did say, sorry, you have to stop right there. Hot happening stand-up director? How dare you? Like, you've placed a camera in 5 positions, 2 of which zoom in. Okay, you might have a 6th that's roaming around. What the fuck do you mean by hot happening stand-up director? There's a limit on the fucking geometry of where you put the cameras. And then what happens is what matters is how you handle the talent, how you fucking edit it. Now, tell me again who this is? Anyway, that type of thing. So,
does anyone here know a hot happening stand-up comedy director that you want to give a shout out to?
yeah.
Exactly.
But so it's like the only thing that's relevant is that in between, because you filmed 2 gigs, because the first gig you get the comedians to make sure they nail the fucking.
May I just pause you quickly and say there's been a couple ones where we only filmed 1 gig and they suffered for it.
Yes.
Oslo, etc.
Well,
go ahead.
Indeed, the last one.
So
Anyway,
you filmed 2 gigs.
You film 2 gigs, and the first gig, you make sure you get the fucking basics right. You make sure they nail the material, and that if push came to shove, that could go out because technically it is correct in terms of the material. And then once that's out the way, the second gig, and you're happy with that, and and you don't have to cover anything off. Then you can tell the comedians, now you can let fly. Now you can fucking have fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with this dumb fucking internet thing as opposed to the last one.
Correct.
Yeah, we're just getting shit-faced right now and fuck it.
Yeah. So, go on.
But in stand-up comedy, you are the director. No one's directing you.
Exactly.
Like he says, they place cameras, but no one's telling you what to do. Hey, on the next time, say twat instead of cunt. Well, no, you're British, so twat sounds funnier. You're the only guy. So when you film shit like that, he's the only guy I trust. He's done stand-up comedy poorly, but he knows how to edit me correctly.
I don't mind that. Keep going. Adrian.
Hit record.
Back to you in the studio.
I'm the director. No, you hit record. I don't want to demean you, but in my business, we're the only guy. We're the director, the actor, the producer. That we do casting.
Right. That's why I was asking about directing because I think
the main thing is we control the editing
right.
process.
I see.
We control the editing process.
He controls everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of left Adrian out of the loop.
It's just like it feels like a live streaming version of my reporting process for the last 10 years. Except I didn't look this good.
Different thing. There's going to be a product at the end of this one.
Okay.
She was so excited to go into makeup.
I was.
Yeah.
I've been in my apartment writing for 5 months with him in my imagination. Now here he is live. So I have a question
Jumped
about
out of
technology.
her dreams and into her car. Come on, I got a Billy Ocean song out of that.
That was good.
Okay, I have a question about technology, though, Brian, because you and I have talked over the years. I mean, you started off with MySpace as a way to communicate with a lot of your fans, and a lot of things have changed over the time that you've been working together since 2002, and things are always moving. Do you feel do you have a sense going forward of things that you'd like to do together on these different kinds of platforms? Are you going to do more of these types of specials, hosting
We're obviously
other
going to be
comics?
producing and directing and owning everything in-house much more. That's the main thing.
What are we doing? We're producing and directing?
I mean, the point is we're going to be...
What the fuck are we doing?
We're going to just be...
Let's have this out on AOL.
Why?
Do you ever feel like because I always want to quit, you're always on a tenuous...
That doesn't worry me. That doesn't worry me in the least.
All right, good.
That he wants to quit?
No.
Yeah.
I always want to quit. Who doesn't want to quit their job here? Who really feels like, every day I go to work is a joyous occasion because I do what I love? Once you start doing what you love, you fucking hate it. I got a fucking book coming out where I have a story about watching porn. The only time I saw porn shot live, and it was the dude who had the flu and didn't want to be there, and the chick was going, "Why did you yell cut? I was about to come." And he's over there just blowing snot out of his face, and I'm trying to make funny jokes, and he's like, "Why the fuck are you here? Who are you?" And like, "You're the dude, you're supposed to love doing this." And she's the one going, "Fuck me more, fuck me more." Once you have to do something, you'll fucking hate it. I'm sorry.
This is
Why were you
that was
on
an extract from This Is Not Fame that's coming out November
see?
14th on Amazon.
Yeah, you can order
Why
that.
were you
now.
on a porn set?
Because I'm going to tell you the whole story. They don't have to buy the book. I was playing Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis where everyone wears a sweater and it's all that Lake Wobegon kind of fucking customers. They don't know me back then. They're free tickets and they show up and they're old nice folks in the front row in sweaters and I kept fucking with them. "Oh, you didn't come here for all these rape and fist fuck jokes. You should have put more thought into your entertainment." And they're like, Afterwards, the guy comes, he goes, "Oh, you live in LA?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I'm a porn producer if you ever want to come see a porn." Like the people that I thought were the most puritanical, nice folk from Minnesota, yeah, porn producer. So I went to see a porn being produced.
Okay.
Eric Everhard was the dude's name, and I can't remember the chick's name because it was not as memorable as Eric Everhard.
Okay.
Eric Everhard, when I wrote this story in the book, was corrected when I put C in Eric instead of K. So he's either that well known or whoever does Google Docs knows Eric Everhard enough to correct the C to a K.
Okay, we have some time now for questions from the audience. Questions?
That's a seamless.
Wouldn't
I know,
Wouldn't
very
it be
seamless.
hilarious
I was
if
gonna-
all of a sudden this dead lighted audience lit up with Eric Everhard questions? Does he really have that kind of abs? Because
I'm glad that facts matter, though, that they corrected that. It's accurate. Accuracy matters. Come on.
And I like that Google Docs watches old porn from Chatsworth in 19...
Adrian has just come from a conference in Reykjavik about facts. So that's why she's interested in that.
She
I'm
loves facts.
interested in facts because I'm a
Just-
journalist.
Yeah, please
But it's hard
ask.
to get them from these guys. It's very slippery.
Did
guys
anyone
try. Help me
smuggle
out here.
booze into this
Help me
place?
out.
Did
Is it-
anyone
Somebody ask
smuggle
some
booze?
up
questions.
there.
Come on.
I don't have any questions about Eric Everhard, so
That's all right.
yeah, it's
I just want someone to talk to me like a
It's a decent T-shirt,
like
that, by the
a
way.
bar
Thank you.
conversation.
I know you're a huge fan of New York City, and you love
Yes,
being here. And this is
It's second to London
yeah.
for
This
everything awful about why you can kill yourself in an English-speaking society, because I'm a xenophobe, too. I only like English when I want to kill everyone.
and I know this city is basically created as an experiment to make fans for you. I mean, suicidal, subway screaming, nut jobs on the street.
Yep.
Some Wall Street banker is punching somebody somewhere because he's looking outside and it's
Is this a
gray.
bit?
Hang on.
It's
He
just
didn't
fucking-
have to hand it. For one time, he didn't have to hand out tickets like Crashing with fucking, what's his name? To do his, go
And
ahead, finish
he-
your, I'll give you the light when you're done.
Thank you. I mean,
You're good, you're good.
This place is horrible. I mean, we all live here, and for some reason we love it. Why are you back? Why do you come here? I mean, you could probably have done this on a webcam somewhere. What
Better question still, why is AOL not down with me in Bisbee, Arizona, where they can actually afford the market until they get back to where they once were?
I couldn't tell you that.
I'm back here to promote a thing that I'm obligated to promote. I did this special where I thought I could pull it off, having not been on stage for 6 months at all whatsoever. And I go, well, I'm only hosting. I just riff hosting. And it took him a lot of editing to make me just seem like I shouldn't be killed. Like I remember sucking on this so bad.
Brian,
But I have to promote it without saying, "Oh, I suck shit."
But I mean,
hey,
and also in answer to your question more directly, the whole point is that regardless what people always wanted to happen with the internet, the fact is that idea that you can do something, that you need to be in a certain geography to do certain things still exists, and New York still exists as a center for doing things like this.
unfortunately,
Or whatever. Yeah.
I think I would bet 2/3 of this room could do their job via phone, internet, FaceTime, something. But for some reason, they make you live in this fucking Mumbai squalor. You don't need fucking chickens and eating scorpions off a stick to make this third world. This is fucking third world. And the fact that you tolerate this. Do you understand how ugly this makes you at such a young age? It just rots your faces. You're just fluorescent light people and you're shrunken up. It took me, I've abused myself for years, daily, drinking, occasionally drugging, chain smoking to be this ugly at 50, and you can hit it at 31. You're just pasty. The more ambition you have in New York, the uglier you fall apart. Rotten chicken off the bone. Do you remember? Is it Repo Man where he's eating the chicken? No, that's The Dark Backward, which none of you fucking know. The Dark Backward, and he's eating chicken. Maybe it's Repo Man. It's just falling.
Either way, plow through.
Point being, yeah, you can do what you do from somewhere else. You don't have the prestige of saying, oh, I live on this block of this fucking stinks. It's awful here. Move, leave.
I used to live in Worcester.
I used to
I'm
live in
from
Worcester too,
Leominster.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
no
from
questions
Yeah,
about the
we
microphone.
fled.
Come on.
Go ahead.
So, Doug, in starting out as a comic, how long do you think it took before you felt comfortable doing stand-up?
I'm 26 years in, and I'm not comfortable right now. I'm not even doing stand-up.
Yeah. I can vouch for that.
Don't ever listen. I've said this a million times. The best advice I ever got was never take advice, because they're only telling you how to be like them. So if I told you 4 years and you're 6 years in, I'm a fucking loser. He said 6. No, everyone is. That's why there's no like acting. There's like animosity between, oh, he got the part, but I didn't, because there's a part. In stand-up, there's only you. You create and write your part, and no one else is doing it. Hopefully, I was gonna drop a name of someone who stole my jokes, but I don't want to fucking waste that right now.
Correct.
Yeah, so just do what you do. Just have fun in the day, because you're dead at the end. Make sure you're having fun doing it.
We have time for one more question.
Oh, that would be me.
All right.
I'm on the brown tee. Of course, I can't follow all you gentlemen, right? All you dudes. Oh, the dudes are talking. Anyway, hi, Doug. I wanted to ask you, with the advent of your second book, are you finally getting a sense of your greatness?
First of all, you
I love
came
this
on
question.
so strong where I thought I am going to get dressed down for some feminist issue, and you got teardrops above your eye like you killed
never
someone
mind.
when you were upside down in prison. But no, I have no sense of my greatness.
It's about time.
But I'm happy with what I've done. I mean, we all, even that kid, fat kid over there, his Private Pile. He's happy with some shit he did at open mic 2 weeks ago that 2 years from now he's gonna go, I can't believe I thought that was funny. And that's a continuing process. You'll always go, oh, I fucked up a little bit. I should have done this better. This fucking sea hag here, she's been writing a book for 12 years. She won't let it go. I go, you're not even the same person you were 12 years ago. You're never going to be perfect, and you're dead at the end, so have fun. And thank you for the question.
It's a great question. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Do you have any closing comments?
Let's have a million
Gentlemen.
closing comments and then make UCB, who's coming up next, have to do sketches about them.
Or yeah, maybe they might
Improv.
actually have to do improv because they won't have rehearsed that, so they won't be able to
Do a
improv
sketch
it.
about the time you didn't get on fucking AOL. All right. I'm getting
We
a little
would like
feisty. Let's
everyone
go.
to watch the comedians, but just to see Glenn Wool,
Morgan Murphy,
Brendan Walsh.
Thank you.
and thank you for being here. And thank Adrienne Nicole LeBlanc. And see her new book titled Redacted. Got the best title of a book ever. And if she doesn't fight for it, I'll be back here just to trash her and renounce her on street corners like a crazy homeless person. Bye.